be some rain coming through. We expect rain soon. Rain is close. The session has been declared wet. No sign of this rain stopping. Rain is clearing up. Rain should be gone for now. Nothing but sunshine all day.
Freedom Motorsport Alliance storms into OULTON Park's International Circuit tonight, where precision matters as much as raw courage. 45 minutes of GT3 intensity await on a narrow ribbon of tarmac that punishes every lapse and rewards only the committed. Old Hall, Cascades, Island Bend, each corner a test, each lap a battle. The stage is tight, the stakes are high, and the Alliance is ready to fight for every inch. Welcome into week number 8. As mentioned, this is OULTON Park. This is Racers Nexus. I'm Rob Campbell. In the booth with me, as usual, Richard Swindells. Rich, we head to the, well, I guess we were over on the other side of the pond last week for Hockenheim, but we're still over here just heading a little farther west to jolly old England.
Yeah, we're over in England, but the Corvettes and the most of the cars, all of the cars here, are still left-hand drive, Rob, so going to be interesting. Not a whole lot of runoff here at OULTON Park.
No, very tight confines as we see Chase Matsko making his way through the final corner here now, and he's going to come across the line, currently sitting in 7th place. But yeah, you mentioned it. You can see there off the side of the track, it's nothing but grass in almost every corner. So it's going to be a tight confine as we see Chase demonstrating there how tight it is. Heading out of turn 1, he drops a couple tires off. He's going to call it quits and regroup. But let's take a look at the weather our drivers are going to be facing here tonight. I had a look earlier, no rain in the forecast, 64 degree air temp, 73 degree Fahrenheit track temp, a little bit of clouds, ton of humidity, so thick air out there tonight for these drivers, Rich.
Yeah, thick air, but a dry track, fortunate for them. I raced here in a league race a couple of weeks ago, Rob, in the rain, and I did not enjoy it because I had done zero practice in the rain, not expecting the forecast to show rain, and well, let's say it wasn't my best effort because I love OULTON Park. It's a great fun circuit. Elevation changes, off camber corners, blind corners, a couple of straightaways. Really tough to pass on, but with the risk comes reward here at OULTON Park.
Yeah, qualifying here tonight going to be pertinent for these drivers to have a good showing as we see one of the new drivers this week, Marshall Crocker Jr. Welcome into him. See how he does driving a FAF-themed Mustang out there, Rich. One of the cars the FAF team hasn't driven in the past couple of years. They've been in the Porsche, they've been in the McLaren, and then in the Lambo the last couple of seasons, but not in the Mustang.
No, not in the Mustang. And funny, I have raced with Marshall in other leagues before, so he'll be one to watch, I think. And for that matter, I know a couple of guys on the FAF team, having done RC racing with him over the years. But take a look at Anthony Sorrentino. Anthony gracing us with another camera once again, like he did last race, with a VW overhead.
Yeah. What was he driving last week? It wasn't a Volkswagen product.
It was the Audi.
Well. The Audi. No, he was in the
Porsche.
Oh, I guess he was driving a Volkswagen product last week, but he's got the Volkswagen Auto Group partner there, Volkswagen itself, right, rocking the McLaren. I guess it fits. He's in England. He's got the British car on track. Currently sitting in 6th in qualifying, so nice showing for him so far. Anthony Jenkins as well, last week's winner. He's going to have the end-of-line penalty here tonight, Rich, so we'll have to see how he does. Working his way up through the back of Oulton Park. As you mentioned, tight confines here, so it'll be real tough for Mr. Jenkins tonight to make his way to the front, so we'll keep an eye on him as he's going to be rather hungry to move up through the field.
Yeah, Anthony always demonstrates a lot of pace, so it'll be interesting to see how well he moves up through the field of passing circuit. And take a look here, Anthony Branco coming into the last little sector here. Really, there's just 2 corners to go. It's going to set you up, this exit here. You can gain or lose many tenths just on that one little corner. Anthony Branco coming into the pits. That's another thing, Rob, I'm going to mention here about pit road. A very small pit lane here, or pit road at the Oulton Park. So the driver's going to be cognizant of where their pit is, because quite often you get stuck and you may be one of those first 1 or 2 pits, and you can easily miss it. So hopefully no drivers have that happen to them. I had it happen to me once, my very first time here. My pit was the first stall. You don't even see the lollipop man.
Yeah, I've done that too as well, Rich. It's a good point. Very super short entry, and then as you said, the pit stalls, the first ones are right there. So, and I don't think there's a whole lot of stalls at Oulton Park as well too. So it's not like say Spa where you have 30 cars in session, but they've got like 60 pit stalls. So you know you're going to be towards the end of pit road. You don't necessarily have to worry about that. Where I think they only have I think there's only like 40 pit stalls here, and we've got upwards of about 30 cars in the session here tonight. So some of these drivers are going to have to be real keen on where their pit spot is, not to avoid that mistake early on here, Rich. But qualifying coming to an end. Before it does, let's take a look at our championship standings coming into this one. As we'll see here, Anthony Jenkins leading the way, strong now ahead of Chase Matsko. He's got himself, about 42 points over Matsko right now in second place. Matsko sitting comfortably ahead of Justin Welsh, but not without being in striking distance. But I'm having a look. I don't think I saw Justin. Oh, Justin Welsh is in session here as well. I didn't catch him. Must have joined late, but he's sitting in third place, only 4 points ahead of Uncle Tank in fourth. And then, timing scoring got a little wonky on me there, but Robert Wilbrath going to round out our top 5. Jay Davis not too far back too as well. So still a lot of moving and shaking potentially in the championship standings here, Rich.
Yeah, still a few races left to go in this season, so we'll see how everything shakes out.
Yeah, we've got a number of races still to come. I believe next week, let's take a look here and see. I think we're heading to Nürburgring, the Grand Prix circuit, which should be a ton of fun. I'm wondering which layout we're going to be doing, if we're going to be doing the WEC chicane layout, or if we're going to be doing the Formula One chicane at the end. It'll be interesting to see. I prefer the faster chicane myself. I just don't have the skills to navigate quickly the other one. But yeah, we're heading to Nürburgring GP next week. You can see this is week 8 of 12. The usual 45-minute race coming your way. Our drivers will need to make a pit stop at some point in time here. But let's take a look at the grid here. Rich, why don't you take us through the first 12 drivers?
Yeah, on pole tonight, we've got Travis Roberto. Second place, newcomer Marshall Crocker Jr. In third on row 2, Mike Zachar and Kyle Davis in P4. Anthony Zorrentino is in 5th with Anthony Branco. Hey, third row Anthony's. In 6th, Graham Jacobson 7th. We got Justin Welsh in 8th. Jeremy Eshelman is in 9th. Gustavo Ferrero in 10th. Chase Matsko is 11th with Matthias Marcomanini in 12th.
I think that's a new name too as well. Rich, welcome in Matthias. Seth Tozer in 13th place with Jody Nielsen in 14th. Steven Zabziter in 15th with Jamie McCarthy. Going to start in 16th place with Jacob Brown in 17th. Adam Lowe in 18th place. Jacob Wilson in 19th with PJ Wentline rounding out the top 20. Joseph Spillman in 21st. Brock Morris going to start in 22nd. Anthony Jenkins is serving his end-of-line penalty here in 23rd. Actually, he's going to be bumped back a little bit because there's a couple drivers there. So he'll be starting farther back, but Matt Mars will be in 23rd, showing in 24th. And just to quickly round out the field, we got Uncle Tank in 25th, Mark Ossier in 26th, Jacob Williams and Michael Lamanchik going to round out our 28-car grid here this evening. Rich, what do you expect to see from these 28 drivers?
Wow, well, every week we seem to get more and more drivers. It just shows the popularity of FMA, so congrats to them on increasing the field counts. What am I going to expect? I say it every time at Oulton Park. I expect a bunch of off tracks at turn 1, especially on lap 2. Maybe a little bit on lap 1, but on lap 2 for sure. It's just tough, and people are going to want to make some positions up here. But, wow, we're getting ready to go here, Rob.
We are. Field coming through the final corner. Pace car going to duck off. We're just waiting for that green flag. There it is. Quick one. Marshall Crocker and Travis Roberto going to lead us into turn 1. Roberto has the inside line. Crocker going to dive back into second place. Kyle Mavis and Mike Sakara right there too as well. Anthony Bronco going to move up one spot ahead of Sorrentino. We got a car around. Looks like one of the Mustangs around the back. I believe that's Seth Tozier and Jacob Williams. Both of them off in turn 1. So you called it there, Rich. Number of cars off, and looks like, unfortunately for Williams, he's going to have to tow.
Yeah, unfortunately, in this league, you do have one faster pair, but towing is going to take way too much time, and that's basically going to ruin his chances of a good finish tonight. Meanwhile, most of the other cars getting through clean. They love this corner, Rob. This nice horseshoe kind of shape, high bank corner. Drivers using all of the banking, getting the great exit on board here. Anthony Baranco going through the first of the 2 chicanes. We're running the chicane circuit here at Oulton Park tonight, folks. Anthony Baranco in 4th place, up 2 positions.
Yeah, nice start for the Ford driver. We got 3 Fords in the top 4, so looking strong right now for those Ford drivers. Travis Roberto, our only non-Ford in the top 4. He was our pole sitter. He's held on to that position, and he's starting to open up a gap here already over Marshall Crocker Jr. in 2nd place. He's feeling a ton of pressure from Kyle Mavis. Mavis in that Liquid Death metal machine. It's a sharp-looking paint job, and I think it really matches the lines of the Mustang. So see here as he moves around the outside of Crocker. Crocker going to go defensive. He'll be able to fend off that move. So see here if he can gather it up and move a little bit forward. We got a battle in front of the back. Oh, Graham Jacobson around, Rich. We know we got Dad Jacobson in chat. Paul cheering him on, but fortunate way to start here for Graham. He's doing the Austin Powers 5-point turn to get that thing back on track. He's going to fall well down the order.
Yeah, Graham trying to get back on track, but also doing a good job of sportsmanship, not pulling out in front of anybody. Graham back underway as we see somebody else coming into the pits, but unfortunately for Graham Jacobs, that's Brock Morris in the pits early, as is a Jody Nielsen, unfortunately.
Yeah, we got a number of drivers in. We'll see if we can pick up some replays here as everything settles down a little bit, but on board with Anthony Sorrentino, down 1 spot from where he qualified, currently in 6th place, driving the McLaren. I'm actually surprised we don't have more McLarens on track here since we're at a British track, but we've got Sorrentino leading the way from the McLaren charge in 6th place, just ahead of Justin Welsh. So we'll see if Welsh can catch up to him, one of those Mach 10 motorsport drivers. So that's Roberto, Welsh, and Uncle Tank, all with the same paint livery on their car. Uncle Tank surprised us, Rich. He hopped into the Aston Martin this week.
Well, the one thing you can count on with Uncle Tank is to be surprised every week. You never know what car he's going to be in, and it's not usually one of the more popular choices. Uncle Tank last week in the Audi, this week in the Aston. But hey, they are in England, so that is a good choice, Rob.
Okay, so driving one of the British cars, but I think I found what happened to Jody Nielsen. Saw him with a ton of damage popping into the pits. So see here, looks like potentially in through turn 2, which can be tricky on cold tires. Gets out into the grass, now he gets back on track. So that wasn't it there. Something else must have happened a little further that he didn't get flagged for here, Rich. Oh, he's got damage there, but I didn't see any contact. And he just spins around. That's weird. I wonder if he got some net code damage from that passing car that went by him. Unfortunate start there for Jody Nielsen.
Yeah, rather unfortunate. We're going to go back on board here. Take a look at our race leader, Travis Roberto, started on pole. Starting to walk away a little bit from Marshall Crocker Jr. at this stage. At some point, Rob, I'd like to get an in-car cockpit view of these guys going around those tire chicanes, because when you're in the car, you don't get the feeling you get here. But you're getting real close if you want to run a good fast lap. And Travis Roberto is certainly running fast laps right now.
Yeah, we'll get an in-car through there. I don't know how many times I've hit those tire barriers in races, Rich. Depending on the car, you can rip the suspension right off it. I'm looking at you from the Ford 1600 or F4. I've ripped the front right suspension off those cars numerous times. But we got Roberto leading the way. We got Matt Mars on the inset. He's currently battling with Graham Jacobson, who's trying to recover after that spin that he had through the second to last corner on lap 1. So a couple of Corvettes battling it out, Rich. We actually got 3 Corvettes in a row here on timing and scoring for Mars, Jacobson, and Wentline.
Well, that's a pretty good representation. I mean, we've got good representation all up down the field, and there's one of the Corvettes. And Matt Mars never disappoints with a great livery. Matt Mars having himself a good little battle with Jacobson in behind him right now. And Jacobson down 13 positions, really trying to make up some time. We've seen Jacobson do that before, though, Rob. We've seen him go right to the back with a spin and then fight back hard. But Oulton Park's going to be a real tough track to get that done.
Absolutely. So we head back up to this battle here for third place, third, fourth, and fifth. Mavis currently holding that position down. Barranco right there with Barranco in fourth, with Zacher in fifth, and Sorrentino in sixth. And we see Sorrentino faking the move into the chicane here that you were just talking about, Rich, with those tires. Not a wise move to really try and make a move into there unless you're confident you can get that move done. As we said, you can end in tears by way of those tire barriers very quickly.
Yeah, the fake works sometimes, but I wouldn't be too worried about somebody trying to fake going into that tire chicane, because there's just nowhere for them to go. But Mike Zakar doing a good job thus far, holding off Anthony Sorrentino. Zakar is down 2 positions, so he doesn't want to lose any more.
It's still a long way to go, though. 38 minutes left in this 45-minute race. As we pick up Uncle Tank, Zach Tankersley. He's got Anthony Jenkins just ahead of him. Jenkins started at the tail end of the field, as well as Tankersley. Both those drivers serving their end-of-line penalties from finishing on the podium last week, Rich. Tankersley up 12 spots, Jenkins up 11 spots, so quickly moving their way through the field here. They've got Jacob Brown just ahead of them in that BMW. I think he's probably looking in his mirror saying, what do I got to do to keep these guys off the back of me?
Yeah, Jacob Brown up 6 positions, and Jamie MacArthur ahead of him up 6 positions. But, Uncle Tank, Anthony Jenkins, Anthony Jenkins right now is our point series leader, so no stranger to moving up through the field, no stranger to having to start from the end of the line. So it's going to be really tough for Jacob Brown to hold off these 2 guys, but so far doing a good job.
Yeah, he's definitely holding his own right now with that pressure from Jenkins and Tankersley, but I think it's only a matter of time here before Jenkins finds his way around. Now will Uncle Tank be able to find his way through too as well? Jeremy Eschelman, one of the new drivers from last week, had a strong showing, currently in 9th place. One of the few drivers still running where they qualified, but he's also in the McLaren. We have 2 McLarens now in the top 10. Eschelman, the second one, with Sorrentino leading the charge for the McLaren's. Get Steve Sabziter just up ahead of him, so we might see a McLaren versus Corvette battle here shortly for 8th place. But Sabziter up 7 spots already, Rich. Nice run by him.
Yeah, Steven's shown some really good pace this season. and we've been calling his name quite often towards the pointy end of the field. Regarding Jeremy Eshelman in behind him, Rob, I'm really confused because in iRacing it's Eshelman, but when I see him on Discord it's Eshelman. So I'm just going to mix it up because it's mixed up both places. So we'll do our best, Jeremy. Maybe we'll get some clarification for next week's race, but we're on board right now with Jeremy Eshelman in 9th place, following along right in behind Steven Zader-Zabster, coming around through this high bank. Well, it doesn't look too high bank, but it is. You can really get on the outside and apply a lot of throttle through here. The car's going to stick because of that banking and a little bit of uphill.
As we head in through the first chicanes, the drivers having to navigate through that tire barrier. Eshelman doing well to stay off each one of those tire barriers. This one, I think, myself, is the trickier of the two here, Rich. It's really a lot tighter. That first one seems to be okay, but it's that second one that I always seem to get caught on when I make it through there.
Yeah, that second one you're going in with more speed because you've got a little bit of a longer straightaway. I don't know. You're right, Rob. I have the same issue you do. Take a look here, though. Justin Welsh sitting in 5th place and having himself a decent effort. He's got Mike Sakar up ahead, and Justin Welsh trying to catch him, and another gorgeous paint job by Justin Welsh. Mike Sakar going down the front straight.
Yeah, those Mach 10 Motorsport paint jobs, very sharp. Nice looking, but Mike Sakar, he's got that anime type paint theme on his car, holding his own ahead of Welsh down one spot, so he's going to be trying to hold on to that position as much as he can. Anthony Sorrentino now, Rich, up into a podium position in 3rd place as he continues to charge forward, trying to hold the candle for the British mark here in England. Doing well so far, and he's unfortunately 7 seconds back of 2nd place Marshall Crocker Jr., who's keeping Travis Roberto in his sights. Roberto trying to run away, but he's only holding steady here, 1.1 seconds between Roberto and Crocker.
Yeah, that it's not a surprise to me, having raced with Marshall in the past, but keeping up with Travis Roberto, that shows you got some pace, because Travis Roberto has had pace all season long, just hasn't necessarily had the results he was hoping for.
Keep an eye on this battle here as it goes. It's kind of ebbed and flowed here for a few laps. One driver picked up a little bit of pace. Roberto pulled away a little bit, then Crocker would reel him back in.
Well, it is a 45-minute race, Rob. We got lots of time left, still 34 minutes. We're only in lap 8 of projected about 30 laps, and they've still got a pit stop, so as long as you keep within range, everything's okay. Taking a look here with Anthony Baranco leading this train with Kyle Mavis, Steven Zabster in behind. We've got 4 or 5 cars. They're going to go 2 wide across the start-finish line. This is going to set up for turn 1. Turn 1's going to be real interesting. There is room for 2 wide, but there's lots of runoff here. I expect somebody using a little bit of grass. Well, that was pretty well done, Rob. Both drivers were going 2 by 2 now, coming into the next corner. The big sweeper, now they're starting to line up. Whoa, a little bit of spin there, or slide there, and Anthony Baranco holding off. Steven Zabster moving up 1 position. Jerry Eshelman following down. We're going 6, 7, 8, 9 here.
Yeah, it looks like Baranco, a little bit of damage on the right front of that Mustang. The fender pushed in, the bumper pushed in there. So he's definitely nursing a hurting car. He's under pressure from Zabster, Eshelman, and Mavis. So we'll see how long he's able to hold. Actually, MacArthur and Tankersley right there too as well. Not sure what happened to Jenkins, but Tankersley was able to get by him. Jenkins now a little ways back. So I'll have to see if we can pick up and find out what happened to Anthony Jenkins. Put a little bit of a hamper here in his charge towards the front.
Yeah, quite often, I mean, they're trying to move up through the field. If you don't get a pass done, that lets the person behind you would take advantage, and that's probably what happened with Uncle Tank getting by Anthony Jenkins. They're both charging up the field, but now Anthony Jenkins is the one following Uncle Tank instead of the other way around.
We'll see what Uncle Tank can do here. He's got that pack of cars up ahead of them, so we've got from 6th place all the way back to 11th place Uncle Tank, and Jenkins now getting involved too as well. So nice little battle pack here. Baranco's been able to hold off Zabster even with that damage on the right front, but Zabster looking aggressive in behind, trying to find a way around. I think it's only a matter of time before Baranco's going to have to give up the ghost with that damage.
Well, come on, Rob. Let's be real here. We all know that Mustangs are used to driving around with damage on them. I mean, you know, when you spin out exiting the parking lot, you're going to hit a pole here every now and then. So they're built pretty tough. They're built Ford tough, as they say, Rob.
We'll see. Oh, there goes Branko there now. Is he going to get collected up for a tire wall? He does. Nice save there by him. But I think that, as I mentioned, I think that was inevitable with that damage. He was going to get a little bit of understeer, and eventually he was going to drop a tire off in the grass, and we saw what happened there. So Steve Zabster going to lead the pack. Now he's going to go off, so nobody wants to lead this pack of cars here, Rich.
Well, nobody, but somebody has to. So right now it's wow, it's a little bit of chaos going on in the you know, just behind the leaders. So big long train, and they're just switching who's the locomotive and who's the caboose at this stage.
It's going to put Eshelman at the lead, the sharp end of this pack. Kyle Mavis in tow. Jamie McArthur's moved up behind him, up 8 spots. But Uncle Tank now, a big mover, 16 spots gained as he looks on the inside of McArthur. Going to try and take one more spot away here as they head in through the penultimate corner. Nice move there for Uncle Tank. Put him 17 gained on the day.
Yeah, Kyle Mavis coming into the pits. We got a whole bunch of cars coming into the pits early. The pit window is obviously open, folks. They're coming in to get out of traffic, maybe get some repairs to some damage they may have. Anthony Jenkins in real early. So Anthony Jenkins mixing up a strategy, looking to get some free track, a little bit of free space so he can start moving up through the field.
I wonder if he thought maybe if he can get some clean air, get out of that pack, if he can put in some hot laps here, Rich. Maybe jump these guys when they come in for service, but guy he's going to have to try and get out ahead is this man right here, Uncle Tank, up 18 spots now on the day, charging towards the front. Elshman only 1.4 ahead of him, so he's next on the block for Uncle Tank. See if he can catch him. But that battle up front, getting a little closer. Crocker got the gap down to 6/10 now, Rich.
Yeah, Crocker is applying a lot of. He's not applying a lot of pressure, but he's definitely keeping Travis Roberto within range. Travis Roberto, Mach 10 Motorsports. This guy's always having nice liveries on their cars. Travis, no exception. But Marshall Crocker Jr. keeping him honest. We're 16 minutes or so in. We're just starting lap 11 of this race. These two guys still have to go into the pits. Marshall Crocker within range. Travis Roberto up in lead. So right now, 1, 2, 3. Roberto, Crocker's that car, all where they started. 1, 2, 3.
Our first driver to make some positions up into the top 5 is Justin Welsh, as Anthony Sorrentino in for his service too as well. So that's going to promote Jeremy Eshelman up into a top 5 position. But again, we still got a number of drivers to come in for their service, so we'll keep an eye on that. But we're going to battle a little farther back here. Matt Mars and Gustavo Ferrero. Ford versus Chevy here, Rich. Mars in the Chevy Corvette. Ferraro in that black and green Mustang that we're used to seeing in all season. So we'll see who prevails here in this battle of a couple of American Titans.
Well, American Titans driving in the UK, so I'm not sure who to cheer for here, but we're just cheering for some good racing, and right now, good racing it is. Matt Mars, Gustavo Ferrero having a good battle as they're going around through the early sections of this circuit.
Looks like Mars thinking about making a move, thought about showing the nose. Ferraro had that covered off as they head into Shell corner. That's that banked, heavy bank corner. In some cars, you can just go in there without even braking. Rich, you just throw it in there, and the banking will just hold that car in. These GT3s a little too quick for that action, though. So you're going to use a little bit of brakes, but we'll see here if Mars can mount a move as they're catching up to Adam Lowe just up ahead in that orange and black Ferraris. He's now working his way through the second of the 2 chicanes. So we got a 3-car battle here for 14th, 15th, and 16th.
14, 15, 16. We got a 28-car fielder. So good battles all up and down. So that is what you want to see as we take a look and see where Uncle Tank is now. Uncle Tank is still on the charge. Eshelman up ahead, and Justin Welsh up ahead of him. So Uncle Tank going for, whoa, and somebody going off track. Is that Mark Osier going off track?
Yeah, it was Mark Osier going off track just ahead of Uncle Tank. So be a rough race for him. He'll get it back on track and resume his race as we pick up Chase Matsko. He has Graham Jacobson now in behind him. So Graham on that recovery one, doing well now. He's up into the top 10, albeit some of that from pit stops and the cars up ahead, but he's got himself in behind Chase Matsko, looking to put a ton of pressure on him. We know Matsko has a fair bit of speed in this league, Rich. We usually see him comfortably up in the top 10, so it'll be interesting to see how quickly Jacobson can try and move around him.
Yeah, it's Matsko has shown some good pace, and last week wasn't his best week. Jacobson starting to apply some pressure. I think these two drivers would really like to work together and get moving up through the field, but Jacobson won't be shy and will try to make a move if he's not getting the help he needs out of Chase.
Yeah, as you mentioned early on at the start of the broadcast, Rich, tough to make a move around here. As we see our second place car, Crocker, dropping a couple tires off in the grass on the inlay. So see, it looks like Jacobson and Matsko starting to get into a little bit of lap traffic here, Rich. So see how they navigate through that into turn one. Or sorry, that's not lap traffic, that's Jacob Brown. Not sure what happened to him. He's fallen all the way back now into 7th place.
And Jacob Brown up 10 positions on the day, but whoa, Jacob Brown going around. And Jacob Brown, nice save, gets it back on track quickly, but drops a couple of positions.
Yeah, it's going to hurt his run here, but as that happened, Jacobson was able to get around Matsko. It's going to move him up into 7th place. Travis Roberto still leading the way. His compatriot that was battling with him start race here, and well, up to this point, Marshall Crocker Jr. has fallen back now 1.1 seconds. So I mentioned early, not so long ago now, but there's a little bit of ebbs and flows between these two drivers where Roberto would open up a little bit of that gap, and then Crocker would close it back in, but there we see Crocker coming in for his service. He's going to try and get ahead of Roberto here on strategy. We'll see if Travis Roberto answers back next time by here, Rich. Still kind of early in the race here for these pit stops. I'm surprised we've seen so many of the drivers coming in early on here.
Yeah, I'm not surprised with the people in the mid-pack, but I am a little surprised to seeing Marshall Crocker Jr. coming in because there was nobody really holding him up. So maybe it's just a strategy play on his part. Take a little break, get those 15 seconds or 20 seconds or whatever it is to regather and go out and have a good second half of this race. We can look at Matt Mars. Matt Mars still having this battle with Gustavo Ferraro. They've been battling lap after lap. We're on lap 13 now. I think they've been battling for the last 11 laps. But so far, Gustavo Ferraro holding off Matt Mars.
Yeah, we'll check back on them in a little bit here as we pick back up Anthony Sorrentino. He's been in for his service, as well as the car behind him, Brock Morris. So this is the battle for position. Sorrentino currently in 10th place with Morris just behind him in 11th. And we got that battle that we were looking at not long ago. Ferraro about 8 seconds back with the car he was battling with. Matt Morris has come in for his service. So they'll have to wait to renew their battle there. But this one here, Sorrentino, we saw him up as high as 3rd place before he came in for his pit stop.
Yeah, Sorrentino's definitely demonstrated he has some pace tonight. Best lap of 132.36. There's only a couple of drivers who've done faster, one of them being Travis Roberto, Marshall Crocker Jr. being the other. So definitely some good pace. Just a matter of being consistent and seeing if he can get back right up there once the pit cycle is finished.
As we see on the inlay there, Graham Jacobson making his move around Jeremy Eschleman. So he continues to charge up towards the front here, Rich. Himself up into 7th place. He's going to need to come in for his fuel stop here soon, but he's doing well to work back from that early spin on lap number 1.
Yeah, and we're not surprised, Rob. We just aren't. He's tremendous pace, and he's definitely got the biggest, or if not one of the biggest fan clubs out in YouTube land. So Graham Jacobson doing what he can to get back into this race and try maybe steal a podium.
He's got Jamie MacArthur up ahead of him now. 1.2 seconds separate those two drivers. And we have our first driver who has come in for their service, Marshall Crocker, in 3rd place. So theoretically, Crocker Jr. is our leader, barring pit stops from Zakar and Roberto. So keep an eye on that. Looks like average pit stop here, Rich, in around the 14.5 to 15 second range, with Justin Welsh being a 14.3, our quickest stop so far. I hope he's got enough fuel because he came in early on, where it looks like the majority of the rest of the field in around the 15-second mark.
Yeah, everybody is up in that range, with the exception of Matt Myers 13 seconds, but Brock Morris only 7.5 seconds. But Brock came in early. I'm thinking he probably came in to fix some damage. He's going to have to go back into the pits. So Brock Morris, he's up 11 position, but not having the best day overall. But Travis Roberto certainly is. Still in first place. He's led from the get-go, folks. Got a big gap now between him and Mike Sakar, but we'll really wait and see what happens once the pit cycle finishes. See where him and Marshall Crocker Jr. Where do they turn out?
Yeah, just having a look here now. You're absolutely right on Brock Morris. Rich, looks like he came in on lap 1, so he would have come in to get a little bit of damage repair, but he's going to owe us another stop here. Roberto continues on. He is on lap 16 here now. He owes us a pit stop. Mike Sakar in second place owes us a stop. No, it's Jamie MacArthur in 4th, Graham Jacobson in 5th, Jeremy Eschleman in 6th place, Gustavo Ferraro in 10th. And it looks like Adam Lowe going to be one of the final drivers to owe us a pit stop here. As Uncle Tank moves to the inside of him, gives a little bit of a shove off track there as he had to go. Anthony Jenkins right there in behind him as they renew this battle.
Yeah, Uncle Tank's still ahead of Anthony Jenkins, and Uncle Tank was really slow in the pits, Rob, compared to Jenkins, so I'm surprised he still managed to maintain that lead. So obviously right now Uncle Tank's got some pace. Anthony Jenkins, though, looking to close that gap down. He made up a bunch of time through pit strategy, but not enough.
Yeah, I wonder if that Aston was just sipping a little more fuel than a lot of the other cars. Unfortunately, Uncle Tank, the only Aston driver in the field, so it's not like we can compare it to anybody else driving the Aston to see if maybe it's using a little more fuel here this evening than some of the other cars. I know the Porsche generally is a car that doesn't quite use as much fuel as the rest, where like the Mustang, the McLaren, those big V8 engines, the twin turbo engine in the McLaren uses up a ton more fuel.
Yeah, that is certainly could be, Rob, but Anthony Jenkins right now, Uncle Tank consistently holding him off, but we're going to go back up a little closer to the front with Jamie MacArthur in 4th, Graham Jacobson in 5th. They're going side by side, going this straight. Here we go, going into the left-hander. Jacobson getting the job done. Graham Jacobson up to 4th provisionally. Jamie MacArthur in behind him 5th, but Jeremy Eshelman also applying pressure. So we got the nice little 3-car battle here. Eshelman there along with Jamie MacArthur, but Graham Jacobson moving on up.
Yeah, we'll see now if Eschleman can find his way around MacArthur. All 3 of these drivers still need to come in for their service. Adam Lowe has come in for his pit stop, so that only leaves us with about 5 cars left here. That's our leader, Roberto, Mike Sakar, and those 3 cars we're just looking at. As you can see that, Roberto going off track, doing a little bit of landscaping for the groundskeeping crew through turn number 1. So he's going to go 1 more lap, feeling confident he has enough fuel to do 18 laps here this evening. Rich, I think he's got to be getting to the end of his fuel load here as we near 18 minutes to go.
Yeah, and well, his last lap was the fastest lap of the race by anybody. So Marshall Crocker Jr. not turning those kind of laps. Travis Roberto staying out and may have won this battle of the pit strategy, but we will find out shortly. Jeremy Eshelman now by Jamie MacArthur. Jamie MacArthur coming into the pits.
And MacArthur going to come in and get his fuel service done. So that's just going to leave us with our leader, Roberto and Zakar and Jeremy Eschleman. So Travis Roberto right now making his way on the back half of the track. He's going to have 2 more quarters to go. He'll finish up this lap. I think we got to see him in this time, Rich. I can't think he can go possibly any farther in the race than what he has at this point.
No, he's. I think you're right, Rob. But we're 28 minutes into this race, coming around here. Travis Roberto doing a great job of showcasing his talents as they're coming up. We've got a car around in front of him that is not going to affect him as we watch Travis Roberto coming into the pits.
Yeah, he's going to come in and get his service done, so that will pretty much end the pit cycle here as we go back to Uncle Tank and Anthony Jenkins. Jenkins has gotten around Uncle Tank now, moved himself up into 10th place. That's going to drop Uncle Tank down to 11th, but both of those drivers, big gains on the race, serving their end-of-line penalty. 13 positions gained for Jenkins, 14 for Tankersley. Our only driver with more positions gained is in 7th place right now, Brock Morris, but we know he's still going to need to serve at least a splash and dash here in towards the end of the race.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure watching these two drivers all season long battle. They both showed tremendous pace. So far, Anthony Jenkins getting the better of Uncle Tank in the overall points. But right now, Anthony Jenkins holding off Uncle Tank, but they've kind of flipped positions a couple of times. Meanwhile, pit cycle's done for Travis Roberto and Marshall Crocker. Travis Roberto, 4.2 second gap to Marshall Crocker Jr. now at this stage. Travis Roberto going deep into the pit window cycle and turning off some blistering laps with the open track ahead of him. Fortunately for Marshall Crocker Jr., he's now got over 3.5 seconds to make up.
Yeah, just the last lap alone, Crocker Jr. 133.20, where they were running 32s, high 31s before that. So unfortunately for Marshall Crocker Jr., that undercut that he attempted, trying to get in and out before Roberto, didn't work for him. Roberto, as you mentioned, on and off pit road, able to get out ahead. That gap dropped a little bit as Roberto had to work his way around the lap traffic, but still comfortable at 3.2 seconds over Crocker. As we head back a little bit here, Graham Jacobson, he's been in for his service. All of our cars have been in for their splash of fuel. He's now working on Kyle Mavis. That's a battle for 7th and 8th place. This now puts Graham Jacobson back to only one spot lost from where he qualified. So he's managed to work his way all the way back to basically where he started here, Rich. It only took him a half an hour to do it.
It's Graham Jacobson is definitely passing more people than a lot of people. Unfortunately, it's early spins have cost him a couple of times, and if he can keep that car on the track, he's almost unstoppable. He's definitely shown some good pace. He's been, on the podium victories, but tonight it's going to be tough to get on the podium from 8th with just 14.5 minutes left to go.
Yeah, I think he might get Kyle Mavis, and unfortunately, I think that's pretty much where.
Oh no! There he goes again, Rob.
Unfortunate, pushing the envelope too hard. Same corner he went off earlier, Rich, so.
I've spun there many times in that exact same spot. That is a tough corner. That elevation changes here. The weight shift happens and you're going downhill. You're making a little hard right-hand corner. Very tough spot. Unfortunately, eating up Graham Jacobson. As we watch these two cars go side by side using all the curb is Anthony Barenko. Anthony Barenko had himself a heck of a battle with Jeremy Eshelman.
Yeah, we saw last time before the pit stops, Barenko had that damage on the right front. As he moves to the inside of Eshelman, he's going to take that position away. So he was able to use his quick repair once he got into the pits. He's got a fresh Red Bull machine. Somebody's front bumper left.
Was that Anthony Jenkins' bumper?
It looked like it might have been. Yes, it is. Anthony Jenkins has lost his front bumper there. It was laying on the side of the track. Nice catch there, Rich. I'm not sure if he caught maybe Graham Jacobson when he spun and lost that. Let's see here. He's got the front bumper here as they come up on Graham Jacobson just ahead. No, I'm not sure where he lost the front bumper here. I'm not seeing him flagged for anything else. So let's stick with this replay here for a second. See if we can figure out where Anthony Jenkins, lost the front bumper as he's being chased by Uncle Tank. So something happened. Uncle Tank was able to get ahead of him. So
yeah, that's not usually good at picking up stuff like that, Rob. But Anthony Jenkins has been consistent with the car he's been running and with the color scheme on his livery. So it's a little bit obvious. Uncle Tank, we watch him applying all kinds of pressure here. I think this is what's going to happen. Uncle Tank going up the inside and laying on the anchor, and Jenkins just can't get it slowed down in time.
Yeah, if we were watching some dirt track racing, I think they call that a slide job by Uncle Tank. But so Uncle Tank slid up there from, unfortunately, a little bit of contact. Probably at this point in time, Anthony Jenkins doesn't even know he's missing that front bumper. But they'll continue to push forward. But we got a battle here between Mike Zakar and Justin Welsh. This is for the final step on the podium. Zakar currently holding on to that. He started in third. He's currently holding down third, trying to keep Justin Welsh in behind him. Welsh up 4 spots. into 4th place, so nice run for him. They got Anthony Sorrentino 5 seconds back, so pretty much barring a major catastrophe here from one of these two drivers, this is the battle for the final step on the podium.
Yeah, final step on the podium, and that is a place you want to be. Mike Zakar having himself a good race here against Justin Welsh. Two drivers battling hard, looking for that final end of line penalty spot, and it's a double-edged sword. You want to be on the podium, and it's a badge of honor when they make you start from the back, Rob. That's showing you had some pace, and you got a little bit of a trophy the week before. Nice to see these two drivers battling hard. Just 11.5 minutes left to go.
Yeah, both drivers pushing hard. Oh, we got a car off track up ahead of them. Hopefully it doesn't cause any issue with this battle. It's like one of the Corvettes slow on track. I'm not sure who that was, but they're getting well out of the way. I think that might have been PJ Wentline. But they're going to work their way through this battle for 3rd spot. We'll continue on. This is our closest battle on track, Rich, so we'll stay with this one for now. So it looks like Welsh unable to find a way around. Last couple laps, he's been a little quicker. They just can't find that room to make a move up the inside of Mike Zakar.
Yeah, just a little bit of an update. Up front, Travis Alberto still Marshall Crocker Jr. Now 2.8 seconds, so he's closed the gap down by about a second since the pits. But he's running out of time. We've only got 10.5 minutes to go. We're lap 22, about 29 or so. So he's going to have to continue to close up about half a second a lap if he wants to get 1st place. Go back here. Main screen, Mike Zakar. Mike Zakar still holding off Justin Welsh late in this race. Got a little bit of a gap, about 3/4 of a second. Mike Zakar, or Justin Welsh still keeping him in range though.
Yeah, we'll see if Zakar can answer back, as Welsh was almost a full second quicker last time by as they crossed the line. Let's see what lap times they put up. Zakar with a 33.9. Welsh much slower that time, 34.2. So he was into the 32s the last lap. Lost about a second that lap. So Zakar doing what he needs to hold off the charge from Justin Welsh. And then, as you mentioned, that battle up front was getting a little close, but the gap now back up to 3.3 seconds as Marshall Crocker falling back a little bit. But in behind them, we've got Anthony Barranco trying to mount a charge on Anthony Jenkins as they're working around the lap car of Mark Ossier, the McLaren. They're going to get by him, but Jenkins down a little bit on top end pace. That front bumper is going to be like a little bit of an arrow wall that he's trying to push for that front end, Rich.
Yeah, definitely a tough spot for Jenkins to be in. But unfortunately, he's got to deal with it for the rest of the race, and he's got to deal with Anthony Barranco in his rearview mirror. But for how much longer? Anthony Barranco coming around the sweeping high bank corner, starting to apply some good pressure onto the back of Anthony Jenkins. Up ahead, we've got Uncle Tank. Uncle Tank just set the fastest lap of anybody on track right now. So Uncle Tank still having great pace this late in the race. 8th place in the Aston.
Let's take a look here at Graham Jacobson trying to charge to the front again. He's got himself on the back of this pack we're just looking at it, with Echelon just ahead of him. Then we have Bronco Jenkins just up ahead. So we'll see here if Jacobson can salvage maybe 11th place to try and get around Echelon, but Echelon doing what he can in that McLaren, trying to hold off the charge of the Corvette in Jacobson.
Two really good looking cars, but Anthony Jenkins in 9th place right now, doing good jobs holding off his damaged car, holding off at Barranco. But whoa, we've got a little bit of a shaking going on. Graham Jacobson up past Jean-Marie Echelman now, so we got Jenkins, Barranco, Jacobson, Echelman. Brock Morris now coming in for his pit service. Brock Morris, as we thought, would have to come in, so Brock Morris is going to move down through the field. Brock Morris pitting, get his field service.
Yeah, we get a little splash and get back out on track. So take a look at this battle still between Jenkins and Barranco. Let's see if we can get a look at the battle for 3rd place up on the picture-in-picture screen here. It's getting a little closer with Justin Welsh putting some pressure on Mike Zakar now. He's closed in that gap, only 3/10 separating those two drivers, Rich.
And Justin Welsh, Mike Zakar, the battle's been ongoing for lap after lap after lap. Anthony Jenkins on the main screen. Anthony Jenkins still holding off Anthony Barranco. Not sure how he's doing it. Obviously, he's showing us, showcasing the skill level he's got with that damaged Porsche. Barranco, though, looking to get a little more back on him. He's in 9th place. He started in 7th or 6th, so down 3 positions, looking to pick one more of those back up.
Looks like he's fallen back a little bit this lap here from Jenkins. Jenkins finding a little bit of extra pace, but they've got Graham Jacobson not too far back behind. He's got himself back into the top 10, just in 10th place here now, but I'm sure he'd love to catch Barranco and Jenkins, try and take away 2 more spots here, Rich, but looks like the clock going to be the enemy at this point in time as we're nearing 6.5 minutes to go. That's going to be probably another 3, maybe 4 laps on the dial. Is that what we're scheduled for here this evening?
Yeah, we're on lap, the leaders are on their 25th lap of 29, I predict, so 4 more laps to go. We're using all of the track, a little bit of the grass, and then a little more of the grass. Matt Mars having himself a great battle here with Chase Matsko. Matt Mars getting by. Nice job by Matt Mars going into the... Whoa! Chase Matsko getting on the binders, avoiding contact. Matt Mars going through. And while all that's going on, Rob, Marshall Crocker Jr. knocked 1 second off of Travis Roberto on the last lap, but he's running out of time. He's still over 2.5 seconds behind, so running out of time for him as well. But Matt Mars up to 13th place. Pretty solid effort, up 11 positions on the day in the Corvette.
Yeah, nice run for him. I'm trying to have a look and see. Justin Welsh has fallen back about 3 seconds now of Mike Zakar. That was our battle for 3rd spot. I'm just looking to see if something happened to Welsh, if maybe...
I think, Rob, he was in the pits over a second less than most of the other front runners. I'm wondering if he's got to save a little bit of fuel.
Yeah, because I'm not seeing anything flagged as far as him going off track or having a little bit of spin, so you might be right here, having to save a little bit of fuel, although he's starting to close that gap back up again. On Zakar up ahead quickly. The titles have turned here, Rich, as he continues to push forward, but as you mentioned, Roberto still sitting about 1.8 seconds now. Actually, that gap closing quickly. I wonder if Roberto had to serve a slowdown there as that quickly dropped down to 1.4 seconds. He should have enough fuel, a similar time in his stall to Marshall Crocker, but really sounds like that car, it doesn't quite sound like it's all the way up to full strength.
That's that's a huge gain. That's like a second and a half. We'll see after, but he the last lap he was a half second faster than Marshall Crocker Jr., but this lap he's lost a second and a half at least. Meanwhile, back on the in lane
for Jacobson.
Yeah, Jacobson had not his best race. His pace has been good, but the results aren't there. Going to go back up towards the front, though. Follow along. Marshall Crocker Jr. is his quest to hunt down Travis Roberto down to 1 second, Rob. So just a second gap with these 2 drivers. Lap 27 they're starting. Lap 27 to 29. So we've got 3 laps, this and 2 more for Travis or Marshall Crocker to catch up to and try to pass Travis Roberto.
Yeah, that last lap was Roberto's slowest lap of the race, 134.6, where Crocker answered back with a 132.8. So we'll see here if Crocker has enough time to catch Roberto. Catching him is one thing, then trying to get around him, Rich, as we've seen, really tough to do without forcing a mistake by that driver ahead of you.
Yeah, meanwhile on the in lane, Mike Zakar still in 3rd place, final spot on the podium, holding off Justin Welsh. So 2 good battles. They're not overly close, but they're close enough, folks. The closest we've got on the track. Going back on board, see what happened here. Anthony Jenkins, we're going to follow along with Graham Jacobson following him behind as they're coming up to the Shell Oil corner. Oh, gets it up on the grass. Can't brake when you're on the grass, folks. They're getting into the back of the car ahead of him.
Yeah, it was a over-ambitious move there by Jacobson, trying to push forward after a couple spins, and unfortunately he just got into Barranco. Around they went, but it looks like he did wait for him to get back on track. With this battle up front, under a second now, 7/10 separating 1st and 2nd place with 2 laps to go here, Rich. What do you think is going to happen on this one? Give us your prediction.
My prediction is Travis Roberto's led this race from the start, Rob. My prediction is I think we're going to see a finish in the order everybody's in right now. Travis Roberto in 1st, Marshall Crocker Jr. 2nd, Mike Zakar in 3rd, Justin Welsh in 4th. I don't think we're going to see any changes, but I sure think a couple of those drivers wish we'd see some.
See if Crocker can keep pushing forward here into shell corner. They go. You can see Roberto up ahead. If this wasn't a virtual race, you could probably smell the exhaust off that Lamborghini up ahead, Rich, as they head into the first.
Look at how close these tires are. Can we go back to that camera angle, Rob, for this corner here?
Certainly can.
Thank you.
There you go. How about this one, Rich?
Yeah, you got to swing it and you got to turn hard. And I mean, that kind of gives you an indication of how close these drivers are getting to these tires. The window of the margin of room for error here, very, very small if you want to run fast laps. And fast laps, Marshall Crocker Jr. is closing that gap down, folks. 3/10 now, so maybe I'm wrong. We're going to have a battle going into the last lap. It looks like it's going to be a good close battle for the lead at this stage. It all comes up to setting yourself up on this last 2 corners.
Mustang versus Huracan, Ford versus Lamborghini, Crocker versus Roberto. The white flag's out. Final time by for both of these drivers. Roberto picked up a couple tenths through the final corner into turn 1. Can Crocker Jr. find a way to pick up a couple more tenths here to put some pressure on Roberto? Can he force a mistake? Roberto looks like he's picked the pace back up here. Could it have just been having to save a little bit of fuel for a lap or two here, Rich? And he's now able to go full throttle through this lap. We'll keep an eye on it. But right now, Roberto looking comfortable up ahead. He's got that gap back up again. But this is where Crocker Jr. really closed the gap last time by. He was able to dive in, use the banking, and work his way through the chicanes very quickly. We'll see here if he can do that again.
Yeah, so far so good. Taking a look at the great camera angle there, you can see all of the curbing and how close to the tires Crocker Jr. is doing and going to. Only 3/4 tenths of a second gap between the two. One more big chicane here, and we're going to have a couple of sweeping corners. Crocker all over the back now of Travis Roberto, but we're running out of time, folks. He can catch him, but can he get by him? There's not really many passing opportunities left on this track. Really hoping for a little bit of an error by Travis Roberto. Otherwise, he's going to have to stick a nose in, and there's not much track width to do that. My goodness, Marshall Crocker Jr. all over the back of Travis Roberto. We're coming down here, folks. There's not much left. There's just a couple corners to go on this track.
Yeah, 2 corners left. Penultimate corner here. Roberto able to hold him off. Travis Roberto going to take round 8 at Oulton Park. Not without having to fend off Marshall Crocker Jr. We head back to the battle for thirds. The car is still holding on, but Welsh is there, putting the pressure on him. They've got 2 more corners to go. A battle between Porsche versus Porsche. Zakar in that spot where he qualified, holding on to third. Welsh trying to take it away. Zakar with the better run through the final corner. He will hold on to that position.
Take a look at Uncle Tank, Zach Tankersley, coming home in 6th place right now. Uncle Tank had himself a very solid effort, starting from the back of the pack.
And nicely done by him. So head back here. Morris had to come in for that second little splash of fuel. He's got Eschleman just ahead of him. This is for 8th and 9th place. Looks like Eschleman will be able to hold on to that solidly through the second to last corner. Around the tree and underneath the bridge they go. Nice run for them. Graham Jacobson going to finish up in the top 10. It wasn't without drama at all, though, Rich.
How it's always exciting to watch Graham race around this track as we watch these guys coming back for a nice close battle. 11th place goes to Anthony Barranco. Here we go. Chase Matsko coming in 12th.
Going to pick up Jamie McCarthy. He's going to come across in 13th, just ahead of Matt Mars. So looks like something might have happened to Matt Mars at the end, that Chase Matsko and Jamie McCarthy were both able to get back and by around him. Gustavo Ferraro going to round out our top 15. And it looks like Jody Nielsen going to be our final car on the lead lap. And I think that should make everything official here, Rich.
Well, that was a lot of fun. I mean, we got good battle for all the podium positions all night long. Travis Roberto held everybody off, but Marshall Crocker Jr., his debut race in FMA, quite the debut it was, a very close second. Mike Zakar showing he had some pace again tonight in the Porsche in 3rd.
Yeah, Crocker made Roberto work for it in the end. He unfortunately comes home just 3/10 shy of taking top spot. Second step on the podium for him, with Zakar rounding out the podium positions. Welsh Sorrentino round out your top 5 with Uncle Tank in 6th. Jenkins in 7th, Eschleman in 8th, Brock Morris in 9th. Rounding out the top 10 is going to be Graham Jacobson, Bronco, Matsko, MacArthur, Mars, Ferraro, Mavis, Nielsen, and Ossier. Going to round out our top 12 drivers.
Top 18 too, but in 19th place.
Or sorry, 18, yeah.
We've got,
Thanks.
Yeah, that's okay, Rob. I'm paying attention. Adam Lowe, 19th, 1 lap down. Jacob Brown in 20th. Michael Lemanchek, 3 laps down. Something happened to Steven. We saw Steven Zapster having issues. PJ Wentline, Jacob Wilson, Matthias Marcomini, Seth Tozer, Joe Spillman, all having early race endings.
Yeah, unfortunate for those drivers. They'll regroup, head to Germany, and get set for round number 9 next week.
One of our favorite tracks, Rob.
It is. I'm looking forward to that one. It's always fun, and hopefully they're driving the chicane. I'm not driving it, but I just like looking at the chicane.
I don't care what chicane they have, as long as they're there, not doing the whole Nordschleife.
Yeah, I got a little worried when I looked at the schedule. They put Nord's GP. So I'm like, okay, GP, we're doing the Grand Prix later. I think we did the full Nordschleife in this league last season, if I remember correctly. And it came down the line, actually, towards the end of the race. It was a good race, but let's see if we can bring in a couple of these drivers here, Rich, to have a chat with us. Let's see if we can bring in our race winner, Travis Roberto, to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Hey, Travis, you got Richard and Rob in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you guys. How's it going?
It's going good. Congratulations. Nice race victory. Got pole position. Let it start to finish, but newcomer Marshall Crocker Jr. certainly major work for it.
Yeah, he had good pace at the end, so I was definitely driving the mirror a little bit, seeing how hard I had to push it, but I was struggling through the chicanes towards the last stint. I just didn't want to turn, and I was messing with some brake bias to try to help me get through it, and I almost spun it, so I backed it off and played it safe, and just it was a short enough race where, or wasn't quite long enough for him to get around me, so I got lucky there.
Well, we were wondering what happened, because we missed that on camera, so you don't have to worry. Nobody saw it but yourself. We saw what the gap was, and then the next time we looked, it was a second and a half less, so that kind of explains it. We weren't sure whether you had to slow down somewhere, but I guess it was a self-imposed slowdown, we'll call it.
Well, I had two, actually, not two slowdowns, but two incidences where I had to kill a second slowdown off that T1 exit. I went too wide, and then I almost spun out. So I think I lost like 3.5 seconds in one lap. It was a pretty poor lap.
Well, it was pretty poor lap, but overall a fantastic effort. Next week we are going to Nord's GP track. What do you think about there? How's the Lamborghini going to do for you there?
I have no clue. I don't even own it, so I'll have to get busy and start getting some time on that track, because I've never ran it. I have no idea what to expect.
Well, it's one of Rob's and mine's favorite on the service. I think you'll like it. Nice flowing, high speed, elevation changes. We look forward to seeing what you can do from the back of the pack. Anybody you'd like to thank here tonight, Travis, or give a shout out to?
Well, the Mach 10 Motorsport Group, I'd like to thank yourself and the FMA League. You guys put together a great product here. Really enjoy coming out on Monday, so thanks to everyone.
Thank you.
That was Travis Roberto, our race winner. See if he can figure out the track next week to have a strong showing. Let's see, is Marshall Crocker Jr. in the voice chat there? He is not. So let's see what else we got. Mike Zakar, we do. Let's bring in our third place finisher, Mike Zakar. Mike, you qualified in third. You're able to bring home that final step on the podium, but Justin Welsh was making you work for it towards the end of the race.
Oh, I was sweating because he was as fast. He was faster in certain parts of the track, and I was faster in others. And I felt like he pitted early, tried to undercut, and I figured whoever was in front after I pitted was gonna take third, and I got lucky. I came out about 9/10 in front of him, was able to hold it.
Yeah, we saw a number of drivers have an issue with the second to last corner, a couple spins off there, and then as well heading through, I think it's turn number 3, the quick little left-hand kink. Looks like the Porsches were fairly competent here tonight. Did you feel strong coming into this race? How do you feel about OULTON as a track?
So I like this track a lot, and I've actually historically done fairly well. To be honest with you, I got a terrible start. I dropped from third and ended up at one point back in sixth, and a little bit of luck and a couple good moves, and I was able to get back into third. But yeah, I like the track. It one of the things that I've worked on really hard is figuring out. I run just a little below my limit to make sure as my tires wear I don't spin. And a couple of the cars, in front of me, for example, ended up spinning. And so I try and run a couple of those corners, like you mentioned, a little conservative. And then through those tires, I go all out in qualifying, of course, but those 2 tire barriers, I take it smooth and steady through the race. And tonight it paid off.
We head to Nürburgring GP track next week. Is that a track you're familiar with and feel comfortable at?
I've never raced it. I'll be working on learning it this weekend.
That's 2 drivers. Travis Roberto said the same thing. He doesn't own the track. He's going to have to learn it. So it'll be interesting to see how you 2 guys get on track next week and how you do. But well done, Mike. Podium position to finish for you. Best of luck learning Nürburgring for next week. And hopefully we see you battling for a podium position again.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, and y'all have a great evening. Thanks again for the broadcasts. They're great.
Absolutely. Thank you. That was our 3rd place finisher, Mike Zakar, and I understand we've been able to bring in Marshall Crocker, our 2nd place driver, to finish up interviews here with Richard Swindells.
Hey, Marshall, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a fun one. Holy cow.
Nice debut with FMA. You had yourself a great battle with Travis Roberto. You came into the pits rather early. Do you think that was a mistake?
It definitely was not. It was the result of a mistake I made 3 separate times. One of those two walls with the tight curbing there, that one chicane. It's the main benefit of the Mustang. You can really tank curbs, and I was trying to get every 10th out of that I could to catch Travis and whack the right front off the wall pretty hard. Had about a 25-degree steering kink most of that first stint, so decided I wasn't going to catch him, came in to repair it. Sure enough, 2 laps later, I did it again and dealt with it the rest of the way. So it was really just to make sure I could keep it on track, try to just extract my true pace. But for sure, if I hadn't made that mistake, would have tried to stay out there with Travis, maybe force him into a mistake, but he seemed pretty much impervious. It was like racing a brick wall that's exactly as fast as you are.
It was we missed that first one. I thought you came in just to try and switch up the strategy, but quite the impressive debut. Will we see you out next week?
We should. I've been really looking for an outlet for GT3 and my off nights. Obviously, you know me from other demographics around racing. I do a lot of Formula stuff in my main time, but yeah, I'm looking to get into GT3s to do some endurance races this year. I heard about this group just through a little birdie told me, and I heard it was a great broadcast product too, so decided to swing out, figured I'd do a one-off. And I mean, come on, race like that, great lap traffic, but obviously a driver as competitive as Travis to get to battle with my first time. You're a competitor as well. You can't just take the rest of the season off with a great first race like that. So we'll be back next week.
Next week we're at the Nords GP track, one of Rob's and mine favorite. How do you like it?
I quite enjoy it. I think kind of similar to today, the high-speed sweepers, the difficult corners. There are not a ton of great passing corners, but the corners that are difficult and high speed lend themselves well to opportunities. It's easy to force mistakes, and really it just rewards good technical work resulting in passing opportunities, and that's what I think certainly GT racing should be about. So looking forward to it. Should be a fun second one, and luckily one that I know just as well as OULTON Park today. That's what's fun about this series, is really good calendar full of good tracks.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. Any shout-outs tonight, Marshall?
No, not really. Just shout out to you guys for putting out a great broadcast product, and shout out Travis for racing me clean, and same with all the lap traffic. It seems like they got a great group of guys here, and we'll look forward to being back.
Awesome. We'll see you next week, hopefully. Good night.
Thank you very much.
That was our 2nd place finisher, Marshall Crocker Jr. Well done in his debut. Sounds excited to come back and finish up the season. So excellent stuff. We always enjoy hearing that. So that's going to pretty much wrap things up here for OULTON Park.
Can I just add something here, Rob?
You most certainly can.
I may be speaking out of turn, but I believe, I could be wrong because God knows I've been wrong once or twice in my life on the broadcast. But I think this race was sponsored by Jed Cotterman. I just wanted to thank him for, as everybody knows, or most people know, Freedom Motorsport Alliance, free to race in the league. Everything's by donations and sponsorships. So thanks, Jed.
Thanks for the reminder there, Rich, too, as well. As before we go, we should mention the patrons, FMA patrons, Sage Greco, Ron Matthews, Matt Mars, Ben Parsons, and Justin Welsh, just a few of the names that help go to cover the broadcasting all throughout the season. But I wasn't sure when I didn't see Jed join the session if he was still the sponsor of the race or not. So either way, we'll give him the shout out. He is on the schedule there as sponsoring it. And it looks like Justin Welsh is going to be sponsoring next week at the Norge GP. So that'll do it for us here in England. We're going to head to Germany next week. Same time, same place. For Racers Nexus, I'm Rob Campbell. Richard Swindell is in the booth with me. We'll catch you next time for some more racing action.
Good night.